So I've just finished work, it's 4 p.m. I was just about to take Mika for a walk, but I figured I would update you on what I got up to today. Just a fun fact about me, one of my little guilty pleasures is listening to trashy little romance audiobooks while I work. So I was listening to The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lauriegilmore today. I believe it's the second book in to the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which was pretty popular. This book follows Hazel, who's an almost 30-year-old bookseller who stumbles across a book in her store one day that is basically defiled. It has an annotation and a prompt to do something, and she, for whatever reason, figured that it would help her sort of be more adventurous in her last months of being in her 20s. So she's sort of been following the reoccurring defiling of these books as prompts, and she's been taking Noah, who is the town fisherman, I believe, along with her on these things. And yeah, classic story. He likes her, she likes him, but there's a bunch of sort of miscommunications and just misconceptions of each other. It's, again, just a very easy sort of bingeable thing to read, which is sort of what I look for in my workday audiobooks, I guess. I need something that I don't need to think about, that I can just play, and it's a cute little story that I can distract myself with, but I don't need to necessarily think about at all. So for the page counts, I started today at page 56, and then I finished at page 113, which is 57 pages. So I read listened to 57 pages of that book today, and then I also am really looking forward to finishing this bad boy tonight. This is the second book in a 3-book so far series. This has been sitting on my shelf for literally a year, and I haven't touched it at all, even though I really, really, really loved the first one. But then this one came out, I believe, last month or so, and it kicked my ass into motion to read this one. So I am on page 269, and I think there's 340 pages of this book, so I'm very, very close to finishing it. It basically just follows Emilywilde, who is a fairy scholar, so a professor of fairies. She teaches about them. She's just basically a very likable, yet sort of unlikable character who she's just doing her job, and she gets into a lot of pickles, I guess you could call them. Currently where I'm at is she has ended up by herself, all alone, lost in Fairy, which is the world of the fairies, if that makes sense. They're very, very cozy. They're not scary, they're just entirely cozy, and yeah, I'm honestly binging this very, very quickly. I'm loving it. Just been to the store to get ingredients for a cake because it's my boyfriend's birthday on Saturday, so I thought I would make him a birthday cake. I'm actually making him a kada, which is a Russian, like not like bad, but like it has crumbs on the outside. It's a Russian cake. Yesterday you would have seen I started the third Emilywilde book. I literally read like 11 pages or something before I fell asleep, but I'm already really liking it. And by the trajectory that the first two books got me on, where the first I loved, second one loved even more somehow, the third one, fingers crossed, I will love the most. You would have also seen yesterday that I was absolutely speeding through the Cinnamon Bun bookstore. I have grown to kind of dislike that book. It just got a bit tedious at the end. I finished it today during work, and I rated it 2.5 stars. It's not something that I'm ever gonna like remember or think about ever again, which I knew I wouldn't, but it just also got frustrating towards the end of it. Like, the two main characters just don't speak to each other ever about anything important. I also didn't like the smut scenes, of which towards the end there were a lot. And there were also just like inconsistencies in like how the characters are described, and like it doesn't change the tone of the book or anything, but like things get revealed at like literally 90% of the book. And at the end you just have to like sit with this new image of the character. The main guy is a redhead. It could have been mentioned earlier and I just didn't pick up on it, but for some reason it was mentioned a lot at the end of the book, and I was like, okay, guess he's a redhead now. So I finished that one today, and I did not start another one, but I saw on Libby one that looks kind of interesting. It's called The Paradise Heights Craft Store Stitch Up by Kate Solly. That was a mouthful. All I know is it's set in Australia and it's a cozy mystery, and it's about a mother. Why did I say that so weird? It's about a mother. That's all I know though, so it's a surprise, I guess. And that pretty much wraps up the week of reading. I thought I might end it here because I'd rather do like a realistic working week in my life because I have a busy weekend. That's about it. I forgot the name of it, but the craft store audiobook that I'm listening to, I am liking that so far. It's so weird to hear an Australian audiobook narrator though. Like, that threw me off when I first started listening to it. So that book is about Fleck, who is a mother who, at first I thought she was just super like boring and sort of mundane. But as I got further in, I sort of realized that that's the point. Like, the story kind of seems to be about her being a mother who's sort of lost herself in the process of raising her kids. And it's sort of showing her process of trying to find herself and her hobbies. I think it's actually really interesting, and it's probably like incredibly relatable and just realistic to so many people. And I also got to sit down and read more of the Emilywilde book 3, which is the Compendium of Lost Tales. Already, I think I said this in the last clip, but it is my favorite. It's so far been like basically entirely based in fairy. Fingers crossed it stays that way because we're learning so much about it and I'm loving how like mysterious it all feels. And also 2 words, sword duel. That's all I'm saying. So I'll give a breakdown of the stats. So overall this week, on Monday, I did not read anything. We don't talk about Monday. Tuesday, I read 125 pages. Wednesday, I read 91 pages. Thursday was 122. And today, Friday, was 92 pages. So that is 430 pages overall. I think personally that the more interesting stats are whether they were audiobook pages or physical book pages. Like, it's pretty obvious that I've listened/read more audiobook pages, but the actual extent of it was quite interesting to me. So for audiobooks, this week I listened to 303 pages. So yeah, that's quite a substantial amount of them. And most of those I feel like were done like within my working hours. I'd have my headphones on and I'd just be listening as I churned away some data or something. And also while driving, that was a big one. While baking, while cleaning, while doing just like little sort of chores, I guess. And then for physical pages, I only read 127 pages, which actually is not a lot at all. And I feel like those pages, like, they kind of are bumped up in proportion because of, like, for example, the first night I was finishing off a book. So, you know, I wasn't going to leave, like, 30 pages left unread. So I read further than what I probably would have read that night if I was, you know, reading a book like this.